गुड इवनिंग एंड वेलकम टू गना शॉट। गना शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। Today we're going to discuss something very interesting and live. We're going to talk of this ongoing train hijack, which could lead to the secession of Baluchistan. Anything is on the cards. This hijack, the way I look at it, is tactically brilliant, sophisticated, beautifully carried out, militarily. And strategically, it's going to bring a lot of issues into the limelight. And Pakistan will have to do a lot of soul searching. And I think before I go ahead with the whole story, I must tell you this. Baluchistan can survive without Pakistan. But can Pakistan survive without Baluchistan? And this is the question which most of us have to think of when we talk of this subject. Okay. We know this incident, it happened at Mashkaf Tunnel. It's all over the social media and the works. But let's go into some details. What I'm going to do today is not talk so much about we'll talk about the incident, definitely. But I'm more interested in discussing the background and how this has come and where this is going, which is the larger issue of Baluchistan. That to me is more important. Okay. Look, we all know that the Baluch and BLA has seized the Jafar Express in Mashkaf. That's the place. That Mashkaf tunnel is just where I've shown on the map. Pakistanis, the army has tried to, attempt a rescue. It's failed. They use drones, helicopters, and all that. Even now they're doing. That train had about 400 people. There's a lot of news floating around the countryside. But at the best thing that the Baluch people still have about 150 to 200 people with them as hostages. And mostly those people are from the Pakistan army and ISI and all those. They've left the women and people with family, and those videos are also coming out in social media. Situation is very interesting. Pakistan is now saying that we are doing a rescue operation. Rescue of what? I don't think anyone is there to rescue. The train will be empty. There are a lot of videos coming out, they're bombing the train, they'll only destroy the train. Now there's a hostage situation. Completely out of the box. And these hostages would have been taken to 5-6 places. And dealing is on. Hamas style. WhatsApp audio. Sorry. So that is, on. Hamas style. All these hostages would have taken somewhere. So the deal will start. But that's a later day story. But I'm more interested in the fundamentals of what's happened. Okay, this is the visuals of the attack which have been put on social media. Let's play and recount what's happened. Well, very clearly, the militants have caught this train in its tracks. They've, all the passengers there have been taken off, all that, and things are happening. And it's for real. The most important thing is that whole story is for real. Right? Where has this happened? It's nice to see a picture and all. Let's zoom out from there. It's happened between Sibi and, you know, Quetta, at a place called Perokondri near Mashkaf Tunnel. It's on this road, the Quetta Jacobabad Highway, N65. So where is all this? Let's understand that. This is the main route, artery from Karachi goes all the way to Quetta. That's the important thing in this. A main artery of Pakistan has been choked. Hereafter, any movement on this road or on this railway will need a whole lot of security, which Pakistan has to commit hereafter, which it doesn't have. Just think of this, how it is. Okay, and of course, to give you an idea, this is the main route of the Quetta Express, the route map. And Quetta is a major provincial capital. Quetta is the place where the Staff College of Pakistan is there. And that's going to get choked. And this is the mail route from Karachi. But that's not the point. We'll get into the background, because many people understand this whole business diffuse manner. Baluchistan, kya hai? People don't understand it. So what I'll do is I'll start from the beginning. Now look at it. This is Baluchistan. Balochistan has 4 provinces basically. Kalat, which is the green one. Okay. Makran, Lasbela, and Kara. Now, to give you a background to this whole story, these are the 4 princely states. At the time of independence, they were given an option: either merge with India, join Pakistan, or be independent. Kalat chose to be independent. The Khan of Kalat said, I'll be independent. But he made a mistake. In 1946, I'm talking of 1946, not 47, not 48. In 1946, he appointed Jinnah as his legal advisor, so that Jinnah could represent his case to the Britishers. And you know what Jinnah did? He backstabbed him completely. Okay. In 1948, 47 was when August 47 was when the independence was given. Pakistan attained independence. In 48, exactly 227 days after Kalat was an independent khanate or a kingdom, right? The Pakistani army entered Kalat and forced the Khan to sign an instrument of accession. And it was forcefully integrated into Pakistan. People rose up then. Why am I telling you this? The Baluch independence movement starts in 1948. If you don't know that, we'll never understand. Okay. So his brother, the Khan's brother, the Khan of Kalat, his brother rose in an uprising in 1948. It was suppressed by the Pakistan army, and Prince Karim was arrested. There were uprisings thereafter, 58, 62, and till 70s. And they were all suppressed. And they were suppressed brutally. Okay? And then came a period where, Baluchistan existed the way it had to. Now, what people don't know is Baluchistan was not a singular entity. Gwadar was something which was owned by Oman. It was owned by the Sultanate of Oman. And it was under the Sultanate of Oman from 1797 till 1958. So when you talk of Baluchistan, there were two entities, Khalat and Gwadar. A good part of Makran was with Oman, which was given to Pakistan in a sale, which was funded by the Aga Khan in 1958 for a price of 5.5 billion rupees. Who orchestrated all this? The Brits. The Brits who favored Pakistan, who created Pakistan, they did this. Of course, with the machinations of Jinnah and company. So that is how these two issues merged into what is Baluchistan. Okay. Now, what is the current sentiment? We have to understand the current sentiment, why things have come to the level of this kind. I mean, understanding this will tell us where this incident will, come to some logical conclusion. But where it is going, we will only know, where this train started. That is why I'm going to go into the current sentiment. Look, in 2005, there was an uprising. And why this uprising came, that's the important thing. And this uprising came because in 2005, in the Sui gas facility, there was one female doctor who was raped by an army captain. Now, soon, Pervez Musharraf went on national TV and he said that officer was not guilty. People became angry. All the old stories of Baluch uprising came back of the fact that injustice was being meted out to Baluchistan. Now, at that point of time, Nawab Akbar Khan Bukti, as I knew him, he was Pakistan's former defense minister and Baluchistan's former governor. He took up arms against the Pakistani state when he was 80 years old. The complete injustice which was being meted out to him and his people and his state. The very next year, Musharraf got Bukti assassinated. And then Pakistan continued exploitation of mineral resources. They didn't bother about the development of Pakistan, or rather, didn't bother about the development of Baluchistan. Then there's a whole litany of enforced disappearances, extrajudicial killings, human rights violations, and the works. Baluchis suffered. Even when the CPEC was brought into the whole thing, Baluchi resources were being exploited, but they got nothing in return. The Baluch people were always suppressed by the Punjabi speaking population of Pakistan. So the feeling of alienation, which started in 1948, has only been increasing. There's this period from the 70s to 2005, about 20 odd years, where probably it got suppressed. Now the whole story is out. Now the can of worms has opened up. The gin will not go back. That's the point. And then what are the issues involved in Balochistan? Many people don't know, just we talk. Their population is just about 15 million. It's just about 6 to 7% of Pakistan's population of 230 to 240 million. But it is the largest population, largest province of Pakistan and in the least populated. It comprises 44% of the land area of Pakistan. But it's a dry desert area, hills, the works. Only 5% is arable. Extremely dry desert climate. Even within this, agriculture and livestock, because in the desert areas, there's a lot of livestock rearing which goes on. Sheep, wool, and things like that. That makes about 47% of the Baluch economy. The point is, we'll come to the minerals a little later. Look at this map. The two dots I put there. Rekodik and Sandak, or Sandak, as they say. Okay. Like I said earlier, Balochistan is the most neglected and poverty ridden province of Pakistan, but it is rich in minerals. Most of these mineral facilities have been outsourced to China. Gwadar has also been given. And besides everything else, this Chinese activity has fueled tensions. What are the minerals? Yeah, all these: copper, gold, iron ore, chromite, onyx, marble, granite. Onyx is huge. It's only from Pakistan and only from Baluchistan that you get onyx. Coal. Okay. It has 1 billion tons of coal reserves. Sulfur, barite, gypsum, everything. Gold. Same place which I showed earlier. These are the Balochistan's mineral wealth, which has been constantly exploited by the Punjabis. As a result, the Baluch feel deprived. The resources of this, their own land, has been given to others, and they've been left in poverty. And what's more, China is exploiting it. And what's more, the Chagai Hills which is near, the Sandak and Rekodek mines, were used for nuclear testing purposes also. Right. Now, there are 3-4 movements going on in Balochistan. You have to understand it. It's not a singular movement. I mean, understanding this is critical to understanding what's going to happen ahead. There's this Baluch Ekjeti Committee, or BYC, which is formed, just started around 2018 by Marang Baluch. Marang Baluch is a young lady who's formed this, and now she is being nominated for a new Nobel Prize in Peace. Then there is BRAS, or Baloch Raji Ajoy Sangad. It's an alliance of pro-independence militant groups or armed groups. Right? They're the BLA, BLF, Baluch Republican Guards, and the Sindhu Desh Revolutionary Army. Why Sindhu Desh Revolutionary Army will come to at the end. Right? And then there's the third movement, which is called the Gwadar Ko Hak Do Tehreek, which is run by a person called Maulana Hidayatur Rahman. To understand where Baluchistan is going and what are the currents in Baluchistan, you have to understand all these 4 movements, or all these 3 movements. So we'll tackle each of them, and I'll let them speak to you. What is this BYC or the Baluch Ekjeti movement or committee? What do they go in for? What are their muddas, aims? They are focusing on lack of development, enforced disappearances, extrajudicial killings, and human rights violations. They are more human rights oriented. Right. So let's hear from one of those activists who, of course, has recorded this video from outside Pakistan. What does she say? Let's see.
I came from Baluchistan, a province in Pakistan that has faced more than 2 decades of violence. This violence, largely perpetuated by the state, has led to the forced disappearances and killings of thousands of young Baloch men. The systematic targeting of Baloch men has been so severe that women, despite belonging to a deeply conservative society, have risen to lead a peaceful yet defiant struggle for human rights. I am proud to be part of that movement. The Baluchistan's conflict has been overshadowed by global crises, from Kashmir to Afghanistan to Iran's political instability, while our sufferings remain ignored. Baloch women are not just fighting for equality today, but we are fighting for survival. Our sons, brothers, husbands, and fathers, whom we are actually dependent in this male dominant society, are being forcibly disappeared, leaving behind mothers, wives, and daughters to pick up their bullet riddled bodies. Our struggle is not just a political struggle, but more or less is a battle for dignity, for the fundamental right to live without fear and to survive. In much of the world, women fight for empowerment and gender equality. In Baluchistan, we are still fighting for most basic human right, which is the right to exist, the right to not have our loved ones abducted and killed, and the right to live. Only when we achieve survival and dignity can begin to the dream of equality and empowerment. Until then, our fight continues.
So she is more into, yeah, she is more into human rights, the Baluch Executive Committee. And this is courtesy Baluch Post, the Baluchistan Post, right? So now let's see what does the leader of the BYC, Mereng Baluch,
I
say.
came from
Look at her. She's a fairy girl who talks straight and very vociferously. Here she goes.
वहां पर आपके इतने बड़े बड़े जो आप ये माइक्स और कैमरे उठा के लाते हो ना, वहां पे कोई नहीं आता है, ठीक है ना। बलूचिस्तान के दूर दराज इलाकों में जब आपकी एफसी जो है ना औरतों को मारती है, जब आपकी एफसी ने ओशाब में 2 बच्चों पर गोला बारूद फेंके ना, वो न्यूज आप लोगों ने कभी नहीं दी। आप लोगों में से किसी भी मीडिया चैनल को मैं चैलेंज करती हूँ कि वो आए बलूचिस्तान में। आप लोगों में से कौन है जो जिसने तुरबत देखा है, जिसने ओशाब देखा है, जिसने आवारान देखा है? आवारान में एंट्री आपको नहीं मिलेगी, आवारान में आपको वीजा लगा के जाना पड़ेगा। ये है वो बलूचिस्तान जिसको आप लोगों ने देखा नहीं है, जिसको आप लोगों ने सिर्फ और सिर्फ व्हाट्सएप के कॉपी पेस्ट बयानिए से जाकर जो है ना मैच किया हुआ है। उस बलूचिस्तान को देखने की आप में जरूरत नहीं है। अगर आप देखेंगे तो मुझे यकीन है, अगर आपके अंदर इंसानियत है तो आपकी आंखें शर्म से डूब मरनी चाहिए। शर्म करें आप लोग, शर्म करें आप लोग कि आप लोगों ने एक कौम को 70 सालों से खून रेजी की है, 70 सालों से उसकी औरतों को नहीं बख्शा है, उसके मर्दों को नहीं बख्शा है। ये है वो आपकी रियासत की हकीकत। आप हमसे मजम्मत करवा कर अपने रियासती जब्र को नहीं छुपा सकते। आप हमसे मजम्मत करवा कर
Oh, sorry.
वहां पर आपके इतने बड़े बड़े जो आप ये है वो बलूचिस्तान जिसको देखने की आप में जरूरत नहीं है। अगर आप देखेंगे तो मुझे यकीन है, अगर आपके अंदर इंसानियत है तो आपकी आंखें शर्म से डूब मरनी चाहिए। शर्म करें आप लोग, शर्म करें आप लोग कि आप लोगों ने एक कौम को 70 सालों से खून रेजी की है, 70 सालों से उसकी औरतों को नहीं बख्शा है, उसके मर्दों को नहीं बख्शा है। ये है वो आपकी रियासत की हकीकत। आप हमसे मजम्मत करवा कर अपने रियासती जब्र को नहीं छुपा सकते। आप हमसे मजम्मत करवा कर सबसे पहले याया खान से जाकर मजम्मत करवाए, सबसे पहले अपने सबसे बड़े हीरो जो मुशर्रफ है ना, उससे जाकर मजम्मत करवाए कि उसने जो है ना एक 80 साल बुजुर्ग मुफ्ती पर भी गोला बारूद मांगे, उसको भी मारा, ठीक है ना। जाए अपनी रियासत के मशीनरी से जो है ना मजम्मत करवाए कि उन्होंने बलोचों की नस्ल कुशी क्यों की, वो आज भी नस्ल कुशी क्यों कर रहे हैं। ये आपकी रियासत की हकीकत है।
Look, the important thing which is very clearly said is in many parts of Baluchistan, you just can't move freely. You actually need a visa to go there. And that is significant, right? Now, let's talk of the arms struggle. You see the map on the right? This is from the Global Terrorism Index, which tells what are the type of violence which has gone on in Pakistan in the past 1 year. The top is of course the TTP. The bottom, see, the entire area of Baluchistan is covered by the armed struggle headed by the BLA, BLF, and all those which I spoke of. Right? Just think, in the past 1 year, the Baluch groups have attacked, and there's almost a 400% increase in the number of attacks. In 2023, there were 116 attacks. In 2024, there were 504. Similarly, deaths in 2023 were just 88. In 24, at 388. And most of them were either Pakistan Army or the uniformed personnel, and of course the Baluch rebels who've been killed. So that's the kind of a spike which has happened just from 23, 24, and now, of course, it will go further. Okay. Now, this is the message which the leader of the Baluch Liberation Army gave out. This is an old video. I've seen it earlier, but it is again surfaced now, and I'd like you to see it to get the sentiment. When you look at the sentiment of those two girls who spoke and what this fellow is speaking, you'll get an idea as to what the current sentiment within Baluchistan is all about. Let's go.
Motive of our attack was very clear. It was a simple and clear message to China and Pakistan to withdraw immediately from Balochistan. This warning to China and Pakistan was also given by our leader, General Aslam Baluch, but China failed to pay heed. We once again make it clear that Gwadar and the rest of Balochistan belong to Baloch. It's our duty to protect our land and sea. Our operation Zir Pahazak. This is a continuous operation that has been initiated to safeguard the Baloch Sea from China, Pakistan, and other foreign powers. China, you came here without our consent, supported our enemies, helped Pakistani military in wiping our villages. But now it's our turn. Baloch Liberation Army guarantees you that CPAC will fail miserably on Baloch land. Majid Brigade comprises of a large number of volunteers who are ready to sacrifice themselves to protect our land. A special unit in Majid Brigade has been formed, particularly to attack Chinese officials and its installations in Balochistan. President Xi Jinping, you still have time to quit Balochistan, or you will witness a retaliation from Baloch sons and daughters that you will never forget. General Aslam Baloch's mission will continue.
So that's it. This was actually a video which came out after the last attack of BLA on China or the Chinese people, where a few Chinese also got killed. The intensity of what they have conveyed, they conveyed the intensity of ill will against China and Pakistan and those Pakistanis who are exploiting the Baluch people. The same intensity goes across all three forms, whether it is the armed struggle or the human rights struggle of Marang Baluch. Now, let's look at the Gwadar Hakdo Kahani.
Motive of
Right. But before that, the major attacks which the Baluch Liberation Army has carried out are put here. The Jafar Express Highway, Quetta Railway Station attack, which was in November 24, the airport attack, in Karachi, including which killed even 2 Chinese people. Then, of course, they attacked the Chinese engineers. Then the Karachi University attack, plus more. They've even attacked Pakistani military establishments, PNS Siddiqui, and all that. I've not put all that. The main ones which have caught our eyes, I've put here. Okay. Then this is the Gwadar Ko Hakdo Tehreek, which is run by Maulana Hidayatur Rahman. What is this about? It is of giving haq to Gwadar. I'll show you a clip on what it is all about, and I'll then explain to you the dynamics of Gwadar. So the three issues get connected, and you understand the seething anger within Baluchistan, which has got expressed in this in the form of this train hijack. Here we go. Yeah, but before there's the one. Let's see. So, what is this Gwadar Hagdo Tariq all about? This is about their rights to carry out fishing, illegal trawling in Gwadar's waters, Chinese construction, restricted movement in Gwadar, people not being employed by the Chinese for local jobs. Either people were brought from China or from Punjab. No one in the local area got this thing. Then there's a land mafia, and then of course there were you know other protests in Tarbat, Zamran, Ormara, Pasni, and Pishkan. Now, what did they do? For months on end, they just blocked all inlets and egress routes from Gwadar. That's what was there. People, masses of people just got together at Gwadar. This was an extension of what was happening in Baluchistan. And what was happening in Baluchistan, in Gwadar, is going out into Baluchistan to other organizations. So there are three parts to this whole story. Are they interconnected? At this point of time, they're not very well interconnected. But if they get interconnected, Pakistan has a problem. Pakistan has then a major problem. Okay, now let me talk of Gwadar, because Gwadar has a major issue as far as Baluchistan is concerned, and it was about Gwadar, which the Majid Brigade spokesman also spoke and about China. So this is Gwadar, as you see on the map, right? I'll just make this map a little bigger so that you get an idea. This is Gwadar, and when you go nearer, you get to this. This is Gwadar. You see Gwadar, and next is Chabahar. Chabahar is a port which we are operating. Right now, go closer into Gwadar. This is how Gwadar looks. Gwadar looks like a bell which is hanging off the roof somewhere. Okay. Now let's go closer. This is the actual Gwadar port. What you see on the left are those roads and all are being made so that construction come up and all that. On the right is the port. When you go in further, this is the port. This is the port area. This is the main Gwadar port area. Okay, it's the deepest port in the entire Indian Ocean. It's a deep sea port. Okay, that's the important. What does a deep sea port mean? Any ship, submarine, anything can come there. And it need not surface. It can surface underwater also. I mean, not underground, into underground pens. But that's not happened here. We'll not talk of it. Okay. But Gwadar, the whole idea of developing Gwadar was like this beautiful picture. Yeah. A lot of development and all that. Now look at this in the center. Two highways coming and sports complex and residential area and as if it's Dubai. But actually, if you look at it, you look at this part of Gwadar is the old Gwadar. The complete 3-4 lakh people, residents of Gwadar stay here. Where will they go? And that angers them that are all going to be displaced one fine day. And there's no development which has happened to help them out. Okay, that's the point. And they made this great Gwadar master plan. Land sharks from all over came, bought land and they made a killing. It's all, this whole story is a pie in the sky. And this is Gwadar actually, dry without anything. All those colorful things all gone. Now, another thing about Gwadar, you see, this is the traffic which goes in, this is Oman, this is Pakistan, have a look at it. And this is the, Strait of Hormuz, Arabian Sea. And there's a traffic which is going up and down the Arabian Sea, those arrows. Okay. Now, if you go closer, this is Gwadar. There's no traffic. And actually, when you zoom into Gwadar, this is the main port. There's one boat out here. That's all. It's empty completely. right? More than that, this is the airport which has been built. Now, this airport was built, inaugurated 2 months back by Shahbaz Sharif and Li Qiang. Li Qiang is their prime minister. Where did they inaugurate it from? They inaugurated it from Islamabad by remote. They never went there. That's the beauty. And what's more, see, there's hardly any traffic. There's one flight which goes from Oman, goes to Gwadar, and then goes to Karachi. It goes once in a week or something like that. Right? And the entire operation at Gwadar International, it's supposed to be an international port, has been taken over by China. The first language of this port, of this airport, is Chinese. So everything is in Chinese. So it's got strategic value. Okay. And China's long-term aim is to take this Gwadar port away and deprive the people of Baluchistan of this port and its utility. Not only this, China also wants to take Ormara and Pasni. They want to build whatever they want to do. And all that will go against Baluch people. And they also want more, Chinese want more ingress into the mining sector because Pakistan has taken loans from China. So China will take all the mine, copper and gold and everything and go away. And what will happen to the Baluch people? Zero. That's their problem. But the only thing here is that Pakistan and its generals, they're so greedy that they don't want to give control to the Chinese. But that's not my headache or our headache. Okay. Now there's a strategic angle to Gwadar, which we have to think of. There's this two ocean theory which makes China military power, a superpower. So the first ocean, of course, is the Western Pacific, the South China Sea and East China Sea and Bohai Sea and all that. The second ocean is the Indian Ocean. And the entry into Indian Ocean is through Gwadar. And there's another issue. China wants to place its second strike capability, nuclear capability in Gwadar. And they also want to make Gwadar its first overseas theatre command headquarters. All this impinges on Baluchistan. Because Pakistan will be left out in the cold, their sovereignty and territorial integrity is at stake. The very fundamental freedom of the Baluch people is at stake not only from Pakistan but also from China. Okay. Now let's get back to this whole thing which happened and let's discuss that, because that's the whole thing which we started with. Okay. Now this road is fundamental. Now if this road is constrained, control over Balochistan is gone. Because apart from this road which goes up to Quetta and then this Karachi to the coastal highway, the coastal highway is anyway blocked very severely, thanks to the Gwadar ko Hakdo thing and a lot of attacks on Chinese and all that. Now the hinterland road is also blocked. And next, I'm very sure the mines will be targeted. That's the next logical way of going about. The mining operations will come to a halt. Or will be targeted. Let's see how it goes. But what happens with this? That's the point which I want to put across. This entire incident, which is still ongoing, it's almost 48 hours since it started. It's not finished. They've gotten to a hostage situation. And from what I can see in Pakistan media, no one knows how to go ahead. The army has not made a statement. The Pakistan media says, look, the only thing which army has done is send 200 coffins. That's the only arrangement Pakistan has made. Their army has not made headway. In any case, even if you take bomb the train which is there, which is empty, what will you get? That's not a rescue. The rescue is of those hostages. Now, like I said earlier, all the strategic thing is all communication lines in Baluchistan are under threat hereafter. They can't do anything in Baluchistan free. So Pakistan has to commit a whole lot of resources which it does not have to protect this area. It just does not have. Just think of a situation where the people of the entire area are not with you. We know it. To a large extent, it happened in Kashmir. Now we have turned it over by many other means. But Pakistan has not done it. Look, the difference, many people will say, what's the difference between Baluchistan and Kashmir? In Kashmir, we didn't do extrajudicial killings and rapes and all that for 75 years. We have tried to protect the people of Kashmir. We have always protected the people of Kashmir from Pakistan. Many times in Kashmir, people who don't know whether it is in the 65 war or the 71 war or before, the information of Pakistani troops entering Kashmir has been given to us by Kashmiris. There's a whole lot of Kashmiris who don't like what's happening in Kashmir thanks to Pakistan. So there's no comparison. But here it is absolutely inhuman. In a place where 16 million people are treated as second class or even third class citizens of their country, when they are the richest. That's the point. Now it's very clear that the BLA has some understanding with the TTP. It's always had this understanding. It's also possible fully that the Afghan Taliban is coordinating this whole story and helping them out. And the BLA is well trained now. It is no more just the organization which carries out some rash attacks. The last set of attacks which I've shown, whether it's the Karachi airport or the PNS Siddiqui or the one on those police stations or this one, are very sophisticated attacks. Now, Pakistan is up against a state or a situation or a set of people who are well organized and determined. I did a program on Baluchistan about 15 days back, and I invited a member of the Baluch American Congress to speak. And he said, look, we've done all this without India's help. What can we do with India's help? And why is India not helping? People will say India is helping. And he says, no, India is not helping. Please help us. That he's seeking help from India. Now, this entire thing sets the stage for the next step, independence. Will it happen? That's the point. What's the next stage? I'm not saying from here it will go into independence. But what's the next stage? The way I look at it, they've got control of this road. They're going to do pinprick killing. The Western Coast Road they had, now the mines, the resources. They'll start denying resources of their land to outsiders. I see that happening. And very interestingly, Pakistan has no control over the area. Now, this is not something which I have discovered as if it's a discovery on the moon. This is what has been stated in the Pakistan National Assembly. And this is what one of their MNAs, members of the National Assembly, has stated. And we'll see that. First will be of Fazlur Rahman, who has stated this in the Pakistan National Assembly. And we all know him as Maulana Diesel. See what he says, very, very important.
जनाब स्पीकर, मेरे इलाके में ऐसे ऐसे एरियाज हैं जिसको फौज ने भी खाली कर दिया है, पुलिस तो खाली कर चुकी थी। बता दूं आपको, ऐवान को बताना चाहता हूं, वो इलाके कि जो पुलिस तो खाली कर चुकी थी लेकिन फौज भी खाली कर चुकी है, और जहां पर जंग हो और पुलिस भी ना हो और फौज भी ना हो, तो वो एरिया किसके कब्जे में होगा और वहां किसका रेट होगा? और दिल पे हाथ रखकर मुझे कहना पड़ता है, इंतहाई दर्द दिल के साथ कहना पड़ता है कि इस वक्त बलूचिस्तान के 5 से 7 अजला इस पोजीशन में हैं कि अगर वो आजादी का ऐलान कर दें, अगले दिन अक़वाम मुत्तहिदा में उनकी दरख्वास्त को कबूल। कहां खड़े हैं हम लोग? मेरी गुफ्तगू को जज्बाती गुफ्तगू न समझा जाए, मैं जज्बाती बातें नहीं किया करता, लेकिन हकायक तक पहुंचने के लिए पार्लियामेंट को भी पहुंचना होगा और हुकूमत को भी पहुंचना होगा। इस वक्त जब हमारा ऐवान यहां बैठा, सूबा खैबर पख्तूनख्वा के जनूबी अजला, इस वक्त वहां कोई हुकूमत नहीं है, वहां कोई पुलिस नहीं है। पुलिस चौकियां अंदर से कुंडे लगाकर बंद कर दी गई है और पुलिस अमला उसमें महसूर है, और सड़कें और इलाके और गलियां ये मुसल्लह कुव्वत।
जस्ट थिंक, पुलिस कुंडा लगा के बैठ गए, ताला लगा के। देयर इज नो हुकूमत in this part of Pakistan, and this is being said on the floor of the National Assembly. In my way of thinking, 50% of Baluchistan is already independent. Why is 50% independent? Because the Pakistani state and the Pakistani army have lost control over the night. At night, no one goes out. The night is with the Baluch people. It's only during daytime that they operate in a few places. Right? Now, you might say, okay, this chap is Maulana Diesel and this is, this video has been on for quite some time and you can talk what we want. But I came across this right fellow. He's a Baluchistan assembly member, says insurgents hold more control in Baluchistan than state. From the Baluch Post. Now, this is a very interesting video. You must see it, what this fellow has said. Okay? And here it is. ये देखो।
अभी मैं पता है डर के मारे में भाग के इधर से गया हूँ, कल
डर के मारे
मैंने फुलवारी से भाग के गया हूँ, जहाज में वापस आया।
He's come back by a जहाज।
बशीर का होता है, हमारे एनफोर्समेंट लॉ एनफोर्समेंट एजेंसी का नहीं होता। एफसी की होती है, नेवी की इतनी कैपेसिटी नहीं है, पुलिस की भी इतनी कैपेसिटी नहीं है। जिला गश्त हमें ये होता, बचपन में सुनते थे, बस एक ही साहब कहाँ गए, जिला गश्त हमेशा बशीर के साथ नहीं होता है, उससे दरख्वास्त है। हम बलोच है, मैं जब भी अगर मैं इनके हाथे छोड़ो मेहरबानी करके अपने एक तो अपने कमांडर भेज दे कि बलोच की इज्जत जानी, तो जाकर लेडी को कुछ सजा दी कि सरफराज साहब की काबीना में और पार्लियामानी सियासत करते। बशीर देव हमें मारते हैं, हम पार्लियामानी सियासत करते। किसी बोलते बंदूक नहीं चाहिए हमारे पास, तो बंदूक नहीं उठाएंगे, हमें गुंजाइश नहीं बंदूक, आप बंदूक उठवा भी नहीं सकते जबरदस्ती। सरकार हमें बोलते है बशीर देव के खाते में, वो तो मैंने कहा कि जीआईटी मेरे खिलाफ बना तो उसको तो हो जाएगा, लेकिन आजकल गवर्नमेंट बशीर देव साहब की है, डॉक्टर अल्लाह नजर साहब की है, हमें उससे दरख्वास्त कभी हम उसके साथ खाते चढ़े तो मुझे झूठे गोली मार दीजिएगा। जैसे मुझे जफरुल्लाह देवी मुझे गोली मारे, इससे बेहतर है कि मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूं, मैं अपने बच्चे को बलोच को गोली मारो, उधर से वो मुझे मारा, सबसे पहले मुझे गोली मार दीजिए, मेरा बंदूक नहीं चाहिए।
सर कितने फीसद इलाके जो है वो इस वक्त हुकूमत की कंट्रोल में है?
आपके सामने भाई, आपके सामने भाई। अब रात को चलो ना किसी वजीर को बोलो घूमे, मैं खुद घूम नहीं सकता, जहाज में आया मेरे भाई से, कितने फीसद को क्या फीसद। ये मगरब पे हमला करते हैं, फिर मशरक पे हमला करते हैं, शुमाल पे करते हैं, फिर जुनूब पे करते हैं। इतने बड़े बलूचिस्तान में फीसद देखिए ना, आधा पाकिस्तान में।
What did he say? अरे भाई देख लो, रात में हम जा नहीं सकते, कोई नहीं जा सकता। मैं अभी गया हुआ, जहाज से वापस आ रहा हूं। Look at the status there. He says, go tell किसी वजीर को बोलो जाके रात को घूमे। What is that? Wazir is the minister. They'll know the truth. So you see, the Pakistan state has already lost control. The point is, they've lost control of the night completely. Will they lose control of the day also? This attack might just lead to that. Why? Like I told you, the complete road communications are under threat. Any movement in Baluchistan has to be under heavy protection after this incident. And when you start protecting the lines of communication with heavy deployment the way Pakistan does, the countryside is free. So far, Azme-e-Istikam, which Pakistan started last year, has achieved nothing. And if they put that kind of resources against Baluchistan, what will happen in TTP and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa? So this is a very, 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 very grave incident which has happened, which is happening, irrespective of the outcome. Okay, which will hit Pakistan where it counts. Right. Now, this is the reaction of the common man in the streets, what he says after this incident has happened.
ਉਹ ਭਾਈ ਜੇ ਨੰਬਰ 1 ਉਹ ਪੈ ਜੇ ਫੌਜੀ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਾ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਤੇ ਲੀਬੀਆ ਨਾ ਬਣ ਜਾਓ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਣੀਆਂ ਹਿਫਾਜ਼ਤਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਹਿਫਾਜ਼ਤਾਂ ਕੀ ਕਰਨੀਆਂ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਬਾਰਡਰ ਕੀ ਸਾਹਮਣਾ ਸੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਚੂਰਨ ਵੇਚਦੇ ਸੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਾਰਡਰਾਂ ਤੇ ਪਹਿਰਾ ਦੇਣੇ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਰਾਤ ਦੀਆਂ ਨੀਂਦਾਂ ਸਕੂਨ ਨਾਲ ਸੌਂਦੇ ਜੇ ਆ ਭਾਈ ਜੇ ਤੇਰੀ ਨੰਬਰ 1 ਆ ਭਾਈ ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਪਾਕ ਫੌਜ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ 250 ਅਰਬ ਦੇਣਾ ਉਹ ਦਹਿਸ਼ਤਗਰਦਾਂ ਨੇ ਪੂਰੀ ਟ੍ਰੇਨ ਹੀ ਰਕਮਾਲ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਰੱਖ ਲਿਆ ਇੱਥੇ ਰੱਖ ਹੁਣ ਦੱਸੋ ਮੇਰੇ ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨੀਓ 100 ਫੌਜੀ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਵਾਲੇ ਆਈਐਸ ਵਾਲੇ ਤੇ ਆਈਐਸਆਈ ਵਾਲੇ ਤੇ ਫੌਜ ਵਾਲੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਜਰਗਮਾਲ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਰੱਖ ਲਏ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕੰਨ ਫੜਾ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਰੱਖੇ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਜੇ ਨੰਬਰ 1 ਇਹ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਹਿਫਾਜ਼ਤਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਫਿਰਦੇ ਉਹ ਸਾਲਿਓ ਆਪਣੀ ਹਿਫਾਜ਼ਤ ਤੇ ਕਰ ਲਓ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਮੂਵ ਵਾਈਏ ਕੌਮ ਨੂੰ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਉੱਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੀ ਗੱਲ ਚੈੱਕ ਕਰੋ ਮੇਰੇ ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਪ੍ਰੈਸ ਰਿਲੀਜ਼ ਜਾਰੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਔਰਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਲਹਿਦਾ ਕਰ ਛੜਾ ਟ੍ਰੇਨ ਤੋਂ ਉਤਾਰ ਕੇ ਜਰਗਮਾਲ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਸੀ ਨਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾਓ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰਾਂ 'ਚ ਵੇਖੋ ਮੇਰੇ ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨੀਓ ਮੈਂ ਕੀ ਸੁਣ ਰਿਹਾ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਦਹਿਸ਼ਤਗਰਦ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਔਰਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹਮਲਾ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਉਹ ਇਹ ਫੌਜ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪਿਛਲੇ 3 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਕਰਨੀ ਔਰਤਾਂ ਦੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਤੇ ਹਮਲਾ ਦਈ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਅੱਜ ਦਹਿਸ਼ਤਗਰਦਾਂ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਔਰਤਾਂ ਦੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਤੇ ਹਮਲਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਫੌਜਾਂ ਪਲਾਟਾਂ ਮਰਾਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਐਮਪੀਐਮਐਨ ਨੂੰ ਜਰਗਮਾਲ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਲੱਗ ਪਏ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਹਕੂਮਤਾਂ ਕਰਨ ਲੱਗ ਪਏ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਸਮਗਲਿੰਗ ਕਰਨ ਲੱਗ ਪਏ ਉਹ ਲੜ ਸਕਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦੱਸੋ ਉਹ ਫੌਜਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੜ ਸਕਦੀਆਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨੀਓ ਇਹ ਸਕੈਮ ਇਹ ਫੌਜ ਮੁਲਕ ਨੂੰ ਤਬਾਹ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਤੁਲ ਪਈ ਹੈ ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨ ਦੇ ਟੁਕੜੇ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ
See his vitriol against the Pakistan army. He says, you can't save yourself. How will you save me? You guys are involved in smuggling. You rape. You do all that. Look, this is the sentiment of the man on the street which has come out. People will say, no, this is only one odd guy who's talking and putting it on Twitter. And this is all disinformation. But look, we are in the age of narratives. And this is not a narrative, this is a truth. We are now very clear that the Pakistan army is good at, all that, just making money. If I have to summarize what is the situation in Baluchistan today, the situation is of extrajudicial killing, rape, forced disappearances which have not gone back. There's no industry in Baluchistan. Mineral exploitation is rampant. There's no infrastructure for the people. There's no water. There's no oil refinery which was promised. There's no electricity. People are still living in prehistoric times. The people don't like Chinese. They don't like the Pakistan army. Terror attacks are on the rise. Gwadar Hakdo movement, the Brass and the BYC, Baloch Executive Committee, they are all anger. Anger is seething. They're seething with anger. You saw them. You heard. I have never seen so many people coming around a small fishing village like Gwadar and blocking all highways. And months for months, and Pakistan could do nothing about it. All this will come forward. Now, what are the repercussions? Will Chinese troops come here? I do hope they come here. If the Chinese troops come here, they'll get beaten black and blue. They'll get killed. And the true thing of China will come out. China will never deploy its troops. So what will they do? They will put private security contractors. But if they come, same thing will happen to them. Ultimately, if you have to live in an area or a land, the people have to be with you. Will this Chinese base come up? Will the Chinese be able to even set their foot on ground? These are the questions I have put up. Will this base be sustainable? Can Pakistan support China? Can China support Pakistan? What will India and USA do? We have to think. Are we to help these people or not? Is it in our interest that Baluchistan secedes from Pakistan? And if Baluchistan secedes, what about the nuclear issues? We have to think now. And when the secession happens in whichever form, you don't have a control over it. Like the thing which happened in Bangladesh. If that doesn't happen, violence will continue. It's going to be an endless spiral of violence. In that case, should we give moral support to the Baluch people and the Pashtun people, just the way Musharraf gave moral support to the Kashmiris? We need to understand whatever we do here, we're going to kill two birds with one stone, the Chinese and the Pakistanis, because their intent is not good for India. That we should be very clear. Now let me talk whether secession is possible or not. I need to talk about it. That's the issue. Who are the Baluch people? They are a group of tribes who speak the Baluch language. 50% of them are within Baluchistan, within the Baluchistan as it exists today in Pakistan. A good 40% of them are in Sindh. Some numbers reside in Punjab, and some in Afghanistan and Iran. Iran, Sistan, Baluchistan, which borders Baluchistan, and southern part of Afghanistan. And some are in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa also. That they're about 2%. Just this 15 million people don't have that critical mass of people to secede. They don't have that political, might to secede. So far, they have not gone international, but this incident will make them go international. Can they build on this? Which is that big power which will help them to go to the secession? Someone has to help them. Otherwise, there's no way of their going. But whether someone helps them or not, they can sustain this violence, which will keep bleeding Pakistan and the Chinese. So that's an open question. If Baluchistan has to secede, a major part of Sindh has to go under that. And that is why I told you earlier that I'll talk of this brass, which comprises of 4 liberation movements. One including the Sindhu-Desh Revolutionary Army, which is essentially dominated by the Baluch people. Unless that comes, then the critical mass starts forming. If that happens, the future of Pakistan is at stake. India has to take a call. What it should do? Would you like that to happen or keep getting troubled in Kashmir? If that happens, anyway, you'll get POK on the platter. But there are repercussions of disintegration of a nuclear state. The world will see the first nuclear state disintegrating. And a state which is radicalized, full of different terrorist organizations. So in which case, should we start worrying about the safety and security and sanctity of the nuclear arsenal of Pakistan? We can't do it. The Americans can't do it. Otherwise, the Chinese can do it because they are also at risk. I've put up a lot of issues, whether this will go for secession or not. Whether it goes for secession or not, One thing is for sure, things have changed permanently in Pakistan after this attack. I'm not saying so. Let's look at this. This is Akhtar Mengal. Who's Akhtar Mengal? If you don't know, then you shouldn't be seeing this show. So I'll not tell about that. But listen, let me read out what he has said. This is important. He says there is not a single inch of Baluchistan left where the government can claim authority. They have lost this war completely and irreversibly. Irreversibly. It is over. We warned them just as those before us warned them. But instead of listening, they mocked us, they dismissed our words as empty threats, while they fueled a system of oppression, looting, and bloodshed. Every single government, without exception, has played its role in the systemic genocide of the Baluch people. This is the one issue where every institution, every administration, every so called leader has always stood united against us. And rather than acknowledge their crimes, they have done what they have do best, shift the blame onto others. But today I want to make something very clear to the federal government, to the political parties, to the judiciary, to the establishment. You have brought Balochistan to the brink of destruction with your own hands. But this time it is beyond our control and it is beyond yours as well. That is ominous. With this, I rest my case for the evening. I hope you're not got bored because of this long talk of mine, but I put everything in place so that you understand where this whole story is going. I do understand that many of you are from P Guru's channel, and I've extended this. All of you are watching me live on P Guru's, and I'm glad so many of you have responded. But I would request all of you to please subscribe for not only P Gurus, those who are watching it for the first time, please subscribe to Gunner Shot. I'll be very grateful to all of you. And that way I can reach out to you directly on those. You can get on with me on topics which P Gurus doesn't cover. And I can assure you, we talk a lot of good things daily. Right. I'd like to thank Ramesh, who's become a YouTube member. I'd also like to thank Prakash Bhaskaran, who's joined, I think, P Gurus, and welcome. And VProf Electronics to become a YouTube member. I do hope that more of you join Gunner Shot also as members. Right. With this, let me take a few questions. Yeah, let me start with Venki. Sir, if Pakistan don't relent, would there be a possibility of BLA escalation or expanding its outreach into Punjab? Your thoughts? I don't think BLA will be sensible to go into Punjab. They should fight from their territory and draw others into their territory. Similarly, the Pashtuns shouldn't get into Punjab. They should draw others into thing. And that way, Punjab will get isolated. And as it is, Punjab has its own problems. It will fester. And then one odd action will upset the whole apple cart. And that's the danger. Right? Escalation will be there, but to take it into Punjab, the way this has been planned, I don't think is feasible. Because at the end of the day, if you want to do anything of this kind, you need the people with you. In Punjab, the Baluch armed groups or the Pashtun groups don't have the people with them. They might have one odd incident, like what the TTP did in the Lal Masjid case or on the APS attack. They can do that. Right? But then, that's how it is. Yeah. Your podcasts are never boring, most interesting always, so much info and detailed analysis. Thanks a lot, Magnet. Do join us. I'll be grateful. It's me thinking, good evening, sir. Good evening. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, is it true that Pakistani forces have freed many hijacked people after killing many Baluch? I don't think so. There's a lot of disinformation floating around. We'll come to know the real picture in a couple of days. That's why I never put out how many people are caught, how many people are killed, and all that. Right? So, generally, this is what is happening there. We should understand. Yeah, you have nicely stated Baluchistan's plight today. Bharat must give moral support to them and Pakhtuns. We have to facilitate them economically. I completely agree with you. And I think a government must start doing something about it. Okay, the secession of Baluchistan is a fait accompli, and in future it would be beneficial for the Baluch as a people and others who assist them in gaining independence. I agree with you, but there are issues in this. I think mentally the Baluch people have already seceded from Pakistan. Physically, constitutionally, legally, that has not happened. But like I said, 50% of Baluchistan is already free, 50% of the time at night. During daytime, it's a matter of time before that daytime writ also goes. But how it goes, how it happens is a thing to be seen. Yeah, amazing show. Thank you, Ravi Shankarji. Thanks a lot, Shruti. You've always been kind with your appreciation. Yeah, what's Iran's stand on independence of Baluchistan? Is the liberation of Baluchistan possible without help from Iran or Afghanistan? Can Pakistan's economy afford any major military operation? Very good questions you asked. Iran does not like any split because anything happens in Baluchistan has an effect on them. So Baluch people will start gravitating this side. So they don't want that happening. Afghanistan is in a mess. Afghanistan will do anything to put Pakistan on the back foot. Okay, they will help. Okay, Pakistan's economy cannot afford any major military operation, and that's why they have not been able to do anything. They don't have money. The Chinese are not going to give them money. The Americans are not going to give them money. Right? And an operation of this kind needs a lot of resources. It's okay for a country like India, which can continue feed money, but not with Pakistan. Pakistan doesn't have that capability. And this will tell us actually Pakistan's true capability. Let's see how it goes. Okay, what is the role of Afghanistan and Iran in this greater Balochistan? Will they support to form a separate state? I told you, they'll not. Afghanistan might, Taliban might, but not Iran. Yeah. MBS seems to be the only exception who's trying to de-radicalize Islam, but he is a lone ranger. Can he do it? He's made a start. That's all I can say. Maybe not in his lifetime, but he made a change. If Saudi Arabia starts changing, in any case, UAE has changed completely, and this IMEC starts going, things will start changing. That's the whole idea. Yeah. What is the Baluch people waiting for? Let them declare independence ASAP. It's not so easy, Priyadarshi. It's not so easy at all. I don't think they're in a position where they can declare independence. That's my view. Well, you might have your view on it, but one shouldn't be in a hurry on these issues. Good evening, sir. Have been eagerly waiting for your thoughts on this. I hope I put across all the issues to your liking. Okay, let me see if there are any questions more. On logistics halt, you hit the nail on the head. The repercussions of this event will be economically devastating. How they're going to protect their railway network, that's a cost involved. A lot of things are involved in this. It's not going to be easy for them at all, right? That's the way I look at it. Okay. M. Shastri, member for 7 months. Oh, sorry. Thanks a lot. Rajesh Rajshekar Bura, thanks a lot for your super sticker. Jahangir Gotla, thanks a lot. He says, is there hope for India, Russia, US to secure nukes? Isn't it in India's interest to assist the Baluchis and others instead of allowing to Pak to recoup? That's the million-dollar question. And the second part, I'm very clear that it's in India's interest and we should do something about it. It's time to do something about it. But the first part is the bigger question. I think we have to sit together with USA, Russia, and everyone and see how to handle Pakistan. If Pakistan is so shaky, why should the international community allow Pakistan to continue with its nukes? That's an issue which needs consideration. Okay. Any more questions? I don't see much. Yeah, Carson, detailed and insightful. Thanks a lot. Vijay Kumar, he says, with so much plan of Chinese, India and US will not allow it to. I don't think China will succeed, but then you never know, right? That's how it is. Yeah. Do I see anyone else? Okay, I don't see anyone else. Let me see if there are any more questions, then I'll. De-radicalization of Islam seems to be the only solution. I agree with you completely. There's no two ways about that. Okay. Sir, USA may be silent supporter to keep China away. Possible. But what little I know about the Baluch American Congress is that they're not getting that kind of traction. At this point of time, that's the beauty. The thing is that the Baluch people are doing this on their own so far. Right? So that's how it is. I think I've answered most of the questions. Let me have a look again if there's any interesting question. No, none. Thanks a lot for all of you who have attended. Thanks a lot from all those who have come from P Gurus to attend this joint podcast. And I would request all of you to again, subscribe to P Gurus and also subscribe to Gunner Shot and also like this podcast. That will go a long way in helping all of us out. Thank you. Good evening and Jai Hind.